This is another official episode of You, Me, and BTC. I have been saying we're kind of You, Me, and BTC lately because we've done some video game streams, which are not the official show, but this is the official YMB proper show.
I don't know what's going on here. I got an envelope.
Okay, just don't flash all my bills and health records on the screen.
Okay.
Please don't do that.
About 5 years ago, I wanted a fleshlight. I was single at the time, and I wasn't getting any. I got the $20 rubber vagina with built-in butthole, too, and walked up to the counter and said, "My brother is getting a divorce. Is this a good gift to celebrate?" Everyone laughed and said it was perfect. I came inside of it like 13 minutes later. It was pretty awesome.
Ha
Yeah.
That's Ryan's contribution to this whole show.
That's the answer to the question. Erotic store employees. What are some interesting stories exclusive people have given when buying toys/equipment? That wasn't my answer. It was unique user. Yeah, 13 minutes would have been way too long if that was my story.
There you go. There you have it. Peace out, guys. We'll see you next week. So it's a good thing I marked this for mature audiences.
Did you?
I think I did, just as this is our first mature stream. So I'm going to be dropping a couple Buddha darns on here. So keep your ears out. Thanks for joining us, guys. No music today. We are on Twitch, but I'm not anticipating a huge viewership there. This is still going to be an actual podcast where our main viewers and listeners are. So if you are listening to just the podcast, hey, check us out on Twitch so you can actually see our gorgeous radio faces. I mean...
man. I didn't know I was going to be on camera today. I didn't comb my hair or like...
Yeah, you should see Ryan with his hair combed. It's
look good. I mean, all I'm wearing is the terrible outfit, the terrible general appearance that I wore to work at it.
Yeah. He's looking hot. So, hey, the things you have to know for today. First of all, free troll. Jump in the chat. I'll tip you something. Also, any link you want to send us, we'll cover a story. Why not? We're here to just hang out, do you, and whatever you want. So send us a link. We'll cover it. So in the Twitch world, it's socially acceptable to vape on stream. I'm probably going to do it. If you're just listening to the podcast and you hear this good old...
Why would you do that to people?
Because we're on Twitch, and Twitch, it's acceptable.
Okay.
Should we talk about social norms today?
We'll talk about whatever you want. This is your show.
This is for you guys, really.
And whenever...
Hey, check this out. I burnt myself on the oven. All right, whenever what?
I got burnt right here.
See, this is why Twitch is more important than the podcast. People have to come and see all of these beautiful things we have to show them.
Yeah, I was at the gun range, and I just got too close to someone else with a gun.
Ooh,
they
didn't zing to empty at you?
Yeah, the shell hit me on the arm as I was looking through the binoculars to see if he was hitting his mark.
You gonna sue?
I mean...
Man, that's another thing we could cover. Frivolous lawsuits. Let me wite this down.
It was my roommate, so I mean, I could either collect the money from him in rent or just sue him.
Jeez, I thought it was some douchebag.
No, dude.
All right.
I would have had to get pretty close to somebody else at the gun range to have brass land on me.
Well, I mean, mine gets out of control, my AR. Man, every time I talk about guns or race or anything on the internet, I feel like I'm about to get like insta-banned, you know? You ever get that feeling?
Don't talk about race on the internet. You can talk about... Those are two totally different things. Like...
I just get that feeling, you know?
I don't... I mean, unless you're saying that you're like about to start an active shooting... there is no way that guns is as controversial as race.
You don't think that people on YouTube have been like demonetized for talking about gun control?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure those stories have
probably.
happened.
I mean,
send them in if you have one. We'll cover any link you want to send us. Obviously, it's got to be somewhat clean. We're not going to go that ham. Not today anyway. Maybe next time. And I already forgot the second thing I said we should talk about.
Moon landing.
Oh, moon landing. What about the moon landing?
No, you said you wanted to talk about social norms, and you wanted
Yeah, see, I forgot the second thing.
What was the second thing?
Anyway, if you guys remember, hit us up, let us know. But yeah, we could get to the moon landing after we display. We got some gray space up there.
Okay. So we got different poster options. This is this is a fixture chart of FIFA 15, which means that back in 2014, me and my roommate Jake Harp, which if you hop over to youmeanbtc.com and you look through unpopular opinions feed, you will see that there shortly. I don't think it's up right now, but my podcast with him will be up. But this is a list of all the games that we played, and we tried to keep really good track of it. You can see we lost a little section here. We didn't really remember who played there. But this is a fixture list, okay?
So these are your games that you played against Jake?
Yes.
And it wasn't like a structured season. It was just all the games you ever played?
Yeah, so they used to have something in FIFA called lounge mode where it would, like, keep track of all those things for you. And I guess people just, like, got too upset with each other. I know that we ripped each other a lot of new ones back when lounge mode was keeping our stats, but then we had to switch over to doing it manually on a poster, and whoever won got to write the score up there. And yeah, we got pretty heated sometimes. I mean, you can imagine.
Was there ever violence involved? I'm just trying to think of what all could get us banned from Twitch.
No, there wasn't violence.
You and Jake never ever engaged in violence.
Here is this looks like a pre-order poster from GameStop for Call of Duty World War II. Jake and I.
Okay.
I think one time we were filming a high school video project, and we got a little heated on there, and you can see like the beginning of a scrap in that high school project. What'd you just pause, dude?
I just paused so to help with the bandwidth. I don't need to watch myself on the stream when I'm already I am the stream. I don't need to watch. Hold on, no. We got to talk about Call of Duty World War II for a second. That is one of the many, many, many games that Ryan has convinced me to buy with much finagling, and we have played like twice ever.
Oh, dude, you're very, very unreliable when it comes to like getting online, and sometimes your PS4 just shuts off and we can't play anyways. That was like the plague of when Battlefield 1 came out. We could never get playing because your PlayStation would always just shut off.
Oh, yeah, that was rough. That took me a full several months to sort out. I had to get a new one sent to me and deal with all that warranty crap. And, yeah, but many games. Red Dead, Battlefront.
Okay, but Battlefront, it was literally like $8 for the base game plus the entire season pass.
Yeah, I want to say like $20.
No.
Do I need to pull up my PlayStation receipts?
Go ahead and do that because I'm pretty confident. There are some, like we split Red Dead Redemption 2, but you only paid $20. So no matter how much you played it, I feel like that was a pretty good bargain for you.
Yeah, we'll see what we got. You keep him busy. I'll go find my.
Okay, so just to let you know how close he is right now to finding his purchase history.
What's this called?
He's looking at a 404 error. So,
all right, Battlefront. Okay, hold on. Thank you for your purchase, Battlefront. This is the beauty of $12, man.
Not 12.
Where 11, 11.
$9.99 plus tax, $10.85. That is way closer. $9.99 is way closer to $8 than it is.
I'm list-dexic. I'm sorry. Guys, real quick, a reminder: send us a link. Any story, we'll cover it tonight. What's this one?
This is Heath Ledger as the Joker.
That might be one of my favorite ones that I've seen you bring over here and for the studio. That is a pretty good freaking poster. You like it?
No.
Well, you don't like Heath Ledger?
Dude, it was hanging in my living room for like 2 years at my old apartment. I don't know if you didn't really ever visit that apartment. It was the one we watched the Super Bowl in that you saw
on
maybe
the
like a
on the
quarter
Galaxy TV.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Galaxy TV at that point. It was a good TV.
It was like the miniature Galaxy TV.
No, it was a good TV, dude.
It had all these white dots on it, dead pixels, so it looked like stars. We called it the Galaxy. As of today, I call it the
cannot
Galaxy.
Be fun to listen to me crinkling all of these pages in the background. Is that in the frame?
Yeah, you're good.
So this was this game came out when I was in high school, and I bought this poster. I'm sorry, for my freshman dorm room in Jamestown, New York.
You bought that poster?
Yes.
Who buys Excuse me.
You said you'd be vaping, dude. You didn't say anything about the burps, man.
No, but who buys posters?
Oh, now this is way more controversial, dude.
Is this gonna get us banned on Twitch?
I don't know.
Can you read it to me?
It says I am. Here's a poster. It is a bunch of Christian Bible verses that all contain the words I am. I am alive with Christ. I am free from the law of sin and death. I am far from oppression, and fear does not come near me. I am born of God, and the evil one does not touch me, etc.
Okay. How many? So the point here, guys, is we're gonna fill this gray space back here. If you want to tell us which one you prefer to go into that blank space, hit us up.
Here's a Phoenix Rising poster of Luke Rooney.
Nothing wrong with him. He can clean them up with the best of them.
Here is a game program / poster for the Buffalo Sabres at the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And this is from the first time ever that Buffalo played an NHL hockey game at Las Vegas. And for the poster, they put an old Buffalo Sabres player on as the photo.
Because they didn't have any good new ones? Why'd they put...
well, we didn't think so at the time, but then they ended up going to the Stanley Cup playoffs that year.
Frick, so who should it have been?
Probably Marc-Andre Fleury, the old Pittsburgh Penguins goalie.
Yeah, he was the man. I'll tell you what. Good old Flower.
This is a poster that you get for going to a Buffalo Sabres game. Tyson Strachan. He's no longer with the team. This is probably... Oh, yep, this roster is as of December 30th, 2014. So I probably visited my family in Western New York Christmas of 14. Yeah, New Year's 2015.
That sounds like so long ago all of a sudden.
I know, but we still got the poster in mint condition.
That's good. That's good. If anyone wants these, hit us up.
So I don't have any Oh, you know what? I do remember going to this game. My company took me to this game. Well, no, we all bought our own tickets, but our company as a group went to see the Washington Capitals at the Arizona Coyotes. This would have been in October 2014, I believe. Oh, November. It says the roster is accurate as of 11/17/2014. This can't be interesting to anybody.
All right, well, why are you whipping out the posters then?
You talk about other stuff. I'll keep going through the... Oh, here's Keith Yandel.
It's interesting to someone.
So this was a different game that we went to that same year.
I didn't realize we had like 40 of these. I was expecting like 4.
Here's another Phoenix Rising poster. Peter Ramage. He was a pretty quality player. He actually played in the Premiership, which is the top division of English soccer. So for him to be playing for Phoenix Rising, which is a second division United States team, that was something for them to have that player on that team.
That is something.
Oh, and looks like this is the last one. This I got for pre-ordering Grand Theft Auto 5 in 2013. Yeah, you can see
there you have it.
Side of the poster. And here is...
What's the point of a double-sided poster? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Man, I'm the dumbest thing, I guess.
This person right here, right here, looks just like my girlfriend's sister.
I don't know your girlfriend's sister, but I believe you.
You met her.
Oh, apparently I know his girlfriend's sister.
I don't know. You probably did.
All right, guys. Well, that's our poster show of the evening. Sorry about that. Hit us up with any link and we'll cover it.
Sorry about that. Don't act like I just hijacked the show with poor quality content. You told me to do that.
All right. So it's my fault, apparently. Tell us which one you liked, and we'll put it on the wall. We got this gray space right here, and it is your space if you tell us which poster should go there. I'll also send you 1,000 troll coins if you pick one. So, anyone in the chat, drop us a note which one you liked, and it'll be on the wall in a few minutes here. Back to moon landings.
Oh,
How many times have you been there?
I've never been to the moon.
This is going to be fun audio to edit because he's been like 12 feet away from the mic the whole time.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I feel like I did a pretty good job getting back into the, or at least talking a lot. I guess I've been doing a worse job than I thought because I thought that I was maintaining my levels pretty well, and my voice just cracked because I was trying to stifle a burp.
Too late.
Anyways. The moon landing, dude, 1969, July something or other. I don't remember the exact day.
The 20th, like 5-6 days ago.
Yeah. At the time of recording, I don't know when this is going to go out on the website. I mean, it's on Twitch right now, obviously. But here's the thing about the moon landing, dude, is I'm not saying that they did fake the moon landing. I'm saying that there was motivation to fake the moon landing and that they could have faked the moon landing. I don't know. I don't think they did fake the moon landing. I think I think that they could have.
You just think they should have.
No, I don't think that. I think that going to the moon. I don't know, dude. What was going to the moon going to prove? It was just spending a bunch of taxpayer money to try to outdo Russians, except not by like building nuclear weapons that could destroy them. Just by doing something they could.
I feel you.
But don't we prove that every Olympics anyways? Why do we need to go to the moon?
I'm the first, not the first, I'm one of the first people to say that, yeah, why do we need to spend tax dollars on anything? But even, I mean, people love NASA, you know? They're like, space, it's all about space.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of a point to be had that, you know, we need to do stuff like that so we can teach kids in school, like, what the consistency of the moon is and stuff.
But I hear a but coming.
Oh, sorry. I forgot what I was going to say because I was reading comments.
All right. How's it going, Emmy? Thanks for joining. We got you, Emmy.
I don't... Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, like, important to be able to teach kids about the moon and, like, say we were the first country to get there in school. But, yeah, I mean,
I'm with you. Like, it's cool for sure.
It is absolutely cool, dude. Like, it's pretty rad that we were able to go to the moon.
All right,
was it worth what it costs? I don't know, dude.
Let's take the whole
tax
tax thing out of it. Let's take the tax, nation, government, all that out of it. Let's say like Elon Musk went to the moon tomorrow.
Okay.
Would you be psyched about it? Would you believe him? Would you think?
I think at this point that enough other people have access to enough technology where it would be able to be proven if they went to the moon or not. In 1969, not a lot of other people could have proved the moon landing fake, even if it was.
Wait, one more time. Not a lot of people could have.
In 1969, even if the moon landing was faked, how would other people have proved it? I mean, you didn't.
Yeah, so you're saying
didn't have like home video recordings or stuff like that. Like even to. So
you're saying it would have been all the easier to fake it back then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I don't know, dude. Like just say that they went up into the sky like a few thousand feet and then just like went around in a circle up there and didn't actually go to the moon. In 1969, there wasn't going to be like a lot of people with access to recording devices where they could. That's obviously like a very crude example. All I'm saying is that the way technology has evolved in 50 years since, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the government to slip something like that by people.
I'm with you. I know one of the first things you said was that they had incentive to fake it. I suppose that's true for when the Russians were, involved back then. These days, like, no one, like, okay, it's just the moon. We've been there. There's nothing there.
Been in the moon, nothing on the moon.
Yeah. So next up is Mars. You think they're gonna fake a Mars landing next?
Well, it depends, dude. If the Soviet Union reforms and all of a sudden we're in a competition with them to prove our superiority and we've got to get to Mars.
I mean, it's all about the Russians these days. You know, the Russians, collusion.
Yeah, Vladimir Putin, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, NASA, it's all tied together, dude. This all goes back to the moon landing. So Buzz Aldrin, go ahead, send us a message. We'd love to have you on.
What about this? Let's say you say there's incentive. You have to come up with something to prove that you're better than the Russians. What else? What other options do you have? What could you fake? What could you? I mean, obviously there was tons of propaganda. Back then.
Probably just wipe some country that nobody really thinks about, like just bomb Uzbekistan, just wipe them off the face of the earth, and then be like, all right, Soviet Union, this can be you. You don't get your act together.
So why didn't they do that?
Maybe not a place with people in it. Like, where doesn't anyone live, dude? Greenland.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm sure some people do.
Like
but
the South Pole, dude. I mean, I guess it would have like, it would have melted the ice caps and raised the water levels to catastrophic levels.
Speaking of the South Pole, that's been on my mind, for a while. It's this entire continent that just nothing. Like, why is it not? Like, why are we so excited about the moon, which is also just nothing, and nobody's going to Antarctica to freaking build an underground sub base or freaking what? Or maybe they are, That's what I'm saying. Like, they all tell us it's empty, but is it?
I mean, I don't know. I've never been there. I also don't really care. I
don't either. I'm just saying.
I think that the difference
is
that one might as well be like an entirely different planet. And the other one has already been explored to the extent where people looking to learn new things are already bored of it. And like for practical reasons, there's still enough real estate in places in America, such as like Montana or something, where you could go and be miles away from other people.
I don't know the exact number, but people say like every person either in America or on the globe could have like a square mile.
Can you give us a rundown of what Emmy in the Twitch chat thinks about the moon landing?
Yeah, Emmy's mom saw the moon landing, and now she thinks it looked fake and ridiculous. But if you watch the video when they leave the moon, you'll see how the camera perfectly follows the NASA guys, and then there is some sparkly explosion. It just looks like old movie effects. I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean,
I was actually I listened to I heard the audio on a different podcast, and the audio of I think it was either the blast off or the landing. He was counting down, and I remember thinking, this has never happened before, and he is doing this perfectly. Just like a sportscaster knows exactly like which player is which and when to yell out, like, "Oh, toss the ball to him," and it's
You're
a line.
saying as Neil Armstrong was narrating when he was stepping.
No, not Neil. Whoever, just somebody on the radio or whatever. It sounded like a perfect sports broadcast. Like the timing, there was no dead air. Like this time, 10 seconds left, and this is happening, and 8 seconds left. Like it sounded super. It just sounded clean, and that made me wonder.
I think that you would get that from a media professional. I mean, you're gonna have someone who was arguably the best in the entire world.
But it's never happened before. There's nobody that's good at that kind of thing because it's never happened before. That's what I'm saying.
You don't think that there'd ever been a live commentator on events other than sports up until that point?
I mean, yes, but
whenever newscasters do a live report, whether there's a traffic accident or some fire going on.
No, it wasn't a report, though. It was in real time. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I just heard it once. It just crossed my mind. I'm not, like, committed to this idea. I'm just saying it crossed my mind.
Listen, man, all I'm saying is they could have faked the moon landing if they wanted to. There's all these theories out there about, like, when the spaceship settled on the moon, where did all of the dust go? Because either there would have been a blast crater or if there was no like crater because it was so soft and the sand just kind of got blown away or whatever the soil was there, then why did none of it settle onto the legs of the spaceship or like onto the boots of the astronauts? Because it would have been like floating around and slowly descending back to the surface of the moon. Like, where did all the dust or debris go that would presumably be created by a rocket engine?
On the moon?
Yeah.
You saying there should be like giant clouds of dust like still visible?
Not
You saying on the video we should have seen it?
or maybe not the dust like floating around, but okay, so they have to engage the engine and push themselves away from the moon. Not as much as they would have to take off, but from a very, very light extent to kind of control their descent onto the moon. And the exhaust and the heat from the engine should have disturbed the area underneath the spaceship.
Maybe. I think part of the argument there will be that there's no atmosphere. So like, if you have like a handful of sugar and you blow on it, it goes everywhere because there's air. But if there's no air, I don't know.
Well, just because there's no I don't know what the exact definition of air is. What I understand
I don't. That's a tough one. I don't know.
Is that there's like oxygen and carbon dioxide like occupying this space.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there isn't that on the moon. That's just why we say there's no
I guess,
air.
you know what it would be?
It's not like stuff actually can't go through there.
I think it would be that there is no air, but air is just a gas, fills a room, whatever. There is much, much, much less of it on the moon. There's still, I'm sure, some atmosphere, but it's negligible.
Man, I have no idea what I'm talking about, and no matter...
Oh, I do. I've studied... No, I've not studied any of this. None of it. So, sorry, guys. But here, I want to finish this thought before I forget. But there are more gases, a lot of gases being created from the engine. It's emitting whatever, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, who knows what. But the engine is creating gas and emitting it. So there is air, or at least gas, coming out of the engine.
Okay, so another thing, this isn't super related to like whether there's air or atmosphere, but okay, so I'm pretty sure it was Neil Armstrong was like piloting the ship on its descent, or the lunar lander or whatever.
Right, all right.
You know what I mean. And he had only ever once tried to do it before, and he wiped out, dude. Like, he crashed. He was in Area 51, I believe, and he tried to like simulate the way he would descend to the moon onto the Earth. And so
why would he only do it once?
And I don't, dude, maybe they only had one $8 million practice spaceship, and he literally destroyed it. He had to eject, and he like barely made it out alive. So a lot of people think that it's very, very unrealistic to think that they could have landed on the moon in an atmosphere that they had never dealt with, never experienced before. They didn't know how the moon's gravity was going to affect them when they couldn't even do it on Earth.
It's like the first time I played Crash Team Racing, you know?
What are you talking about?
I have no idea what I'm doing, you know? You just I'm not actually joking that much.
Okay, so it would be like the first time you play Crash Team Racing, you're really unsuccessful at it. So then you go out in your car.
Exactly.
And you are just somehow able to flawlessly navigate Papu's pyramids in your RAV4.
I feel you there. That's a really good argument. Even if he did it 50 times, 100 times on Earth, like, it is hard to just do something that new where there's so much different and wherever. Like I wasn't really joking with that video game example. If you even with experience, if you switch from Crash Team Racing to Rocket League, you got to get used to the controls again, and you screw stuff up. If you switch from a controller to a keyboard, you're not as good for a little bit.
I bet it would be as easy to control a spaceship in the moon's atmosphere as it would. It would just be just like playing Rocket League, but like on a bigger scale.
Agreed. Sure, fine. But the point is, the fact that everything is different all of a sudden means you're not as good at it.
Yeah.
Even when you have a ton of video game experience, you're going to not be as good for a little bit when you switch from a keyboard to a controller.
Emmy on the Twitch chat says moon gravity is supposedly 1/6 the amount we have on Earth. So that means the dust and everything would have blown up and taken quite a while to settle down. I don't know if that translates into exactly 1/6 the amount of time that it would take the dust on Earth to fall down is what it would take dust on the moon to fall down.
You mean 6 times the amount of time? 1/6 would mean it falls faster.
Yeah, 1/6 amount of time is the time on Earth when you're not.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, dude.
I got you.
Okay, so it'll take 6 times longer for the dust to fall on the moon, which is why maybe it still should have been like upset when they started filming.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and I is there video of them taking off of the moon? Because I want to see how much dust there was there.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, and if you had to press me, I think that I would say we went to the moon, and I totally believe it. All I'm saying is I think that the way news and communication worked back then, you didn't have. I mean, I don't think they were using computers, obviously, to do some calculations and stuff. I mean,
because there's that whole joke about like the computer in the lunar lander had like 12 bits of memory, and now your phone has 12 trillion.
Yeah. But I seriously doubt that they were like sending emails. I mean, they had phones, but as far as like just instant and constant communication, some people theorize that was not strong enough across departments of NASA where, you know, who man, I'm going to sound so ignorant because I don't know what possibly the positions of NASA employees could be, but if there's somebody who's responsible for figuring out how much food these astronauts are going to need and they're trying to ration it out perfectly so they don't have more weight than they need, you know, is that person is probably never going to talk to the guy that is designing the heat shield for the outside of the ship. So everyone in NASA is doing their separate jobs, and there would be very, very few people that would have their hands in everything to know if it was all going to come together and work or not.
I agree on that. That's a good point. It's complicated, and
but I think we did land on the moon.
Okay,
because America.
It's a good thing to clarify. But the argument against that, I think, would just be like, that's everything. That's a car, but we still make them work. That's a computer, but we still make it work somehow. Like, it takes time and iteration and testing, and no computer expert knows how to build a freaking, you know, a plastic key for your computer. But every computer has plastic keys.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know that we know how to make cars work because you see them every day. Like, literally nobody could have seen, you know, I don't know like what the exact point of it would be, but if you went to the video department of NASA and you're like, hey, we just need to get this presentation ready to go for the world, like let's use some special effects or whatever and get this going, and then you know, they just presented that as like, hey, this is I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I have no idea.
I just realized our Google Home's back there. Do you think it's listening to this?
Oh, absolutely.
What if you reverse the whole? Everyone thinks Google's listening to you, blah, 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 Amazon. We covered that in one of your episodes, I think. What if you reverse it? What if Google is talking to you and emitting?
Oh, is this Google isn't plugged in, though?
No, thank goodness.
They're probably still listening.
Probably.
Yeah, so you're saying, can you ask Google to spy on Google employees for you?
Well, that's a different kind of reversing it. But no, I mean, if the Google is like emitting brainwaves to like control you. Ooh,
Yeah,
didn't
that's
think
pretty
of that.
crazy. No, I didn't think of that, dude. I needed a second to get my bearings because you just shook me to my core.
From the moon. They get the brainwaves from the moon. They bring them back here in the cloud of dust.
And what makes it extra crazy is since no one's ever been to the moon, it's like incredibly non-human thoughts.
I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. I was all hunched up, leaning up there. This is way more comfortable.
Probably because you saw me hunched up, leaning up here, but I've got my microphone as far as it'll go.
I got him on a leash
I got
over
the
here.
I got the kid brother microphone. I'm definitely player 2 here. The Luigi.
So I had a buddy last night in the chat. It was not Emmy, although Emmy was here last night. Thanks, man. You're the OG, real man, dude, person of the night. But he was all psyched up.
Do we know Emmy's a dude?
I don't know that for sure. I'm like 80% sure. We called him he a few times and he didn't correct us. But yeah, anything's possible. But this other guy in the chat, Silver, I believe it was, Silver X, something or the other, was all psyched up about Team Fortress and Halo 2. Did you ever play Halo 2? Did you ever play any Halos?
Halo Wars, but those were real-time strategy, not first-person shooter. I believe that I have Halo 2, but I bought it in bulk with like a lot. I mean like a lot as in a collection of games.
Okay.
For Xbox 360 because every year GameStop, well, the last 2 years, they give away Xbox 360s on Black Friday, like literally free. And the idea is that they're not going to sell them anyways, and now they're making you go back in to buy games.
Yeah.
So I think I have Halo 2. I don't think I've ever played it.
We have confirmed that Emmy is a dude in the chat, so we got that straight. I never really played any Halos. I never owned any, and I played some. I believe it was Halo 3. Was that like the most popular one, the one that like revolutionized FPS? I think it was Halo 3.
I don't know. I was a PlayStation man. I think Halo 3 may have been the first one that wasn't on the original Xbox.
Yeah, it was on when I played it. It was Xbox 360. That's true, but I enjoyed it. I played it with some friends who were extremely good because I didn't own a system until 8th grade, and it was like a Wii. I don't know why I said like a Wii. It was a Wii.
What year was 8th grade for you?
Oh, you're asking me to do more math here? I can't even read a number off the screen, dude. Okay.
Well, you
I graduated
high
in
school
13.
2013, so that would have been
5.
2008.
Yeah, in 2008, 2009, yes. I graduated in 13. Subtract 4. Is it 4 subtract? I told you I'm off by 1 all day today.
What are you talking about?
12? 12th grade.
Is it 4 subtract?
Because I'm trying to get from 12th grade to 8th grade.
Let's just slow down, dude. You graduated in 13, so 11th grade would have been 12. So it's just 1 year ahead. So 8th grade for you would have been 08, 09.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with it.
Okay.
Anyway, so wait, why'd you need to know what year it was?
I was just wondering because the people don't know. Like,
okay,
when you're like,
that's
I
fair.
was in 8th
That's
grade,
fair.
that's much
You're
less
right.
relevant timestamp to them than like saying
I
the
agree.
year.
I agree, but I was more pointing out the fact that I didn't have a system until that point. Because most people, I guess you're right.
That would be like if I was saying like, oh yeah, around the time when my mom got a blue minivan. and Emmy's not going to have any idea what I'm talking about.
I feel you. You're right. So I guess I was just pointing out that like most people had a system, they're playing Guitar Hero in like 3rd grade, But again, I guess it depends on how old you are to determine what grade you were playing Guitar Hero in. So you're right. Okay, so screw me. Got it all wrong. The point is, so 2009. Yeah, so the Xbox 360 came out in probably what, 2006, 7?
I think it was 2006.
Okay.
Because Madden 06 was the first sports game on the system. And usually Madden 06 would release in 2005. I think there may have been a little bit of a delay there.
So that was the point I was trying to make. Even
Yeah,
before that,
2006.
PlayStation 2, never owned one. PlayStation 1, never owned one. I wasn't a gamer. That was all I was trying to say. Until high school. You want to talk about what year that was? Figure it out. But I played some Halo 3 with some friends who were gamers. They were extremely good. They dominated us. And I guess what I'm curious is like, what was it that made those games great? Not just Halo, but Halo's a big one. A lot of people would say Halo is one of the best video games in history. The series, a franchise.
Being able to play with your friends all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
I never got to experience that because I lived in a rural area where you couldn't get high-speed internet. It wasn't until, well, it was probably 2013. My dad finally got high-speed internet at his house, and even still, it's either a hotspot through a cellular company or through satellite internet, and both of those are extremely expensive. Sometimes even make you pay for the gig. You know,
Ouch.
I mean, I know when we lived together, we had a lot of real heavy internet users, and we got fined for going over a terabyte a few times.
Yeah, that was fun.
I am pretty sure that if my dad goes over 5 gigabytes on his home internet, he's charged a penalty.
My parents are in the same boat at one of their houses. Their other house is closer to town. They're fine there. But yeah, one of their houses, it's a farm. It's on satellite. Yeah, they're limited to like 10 gigs or something. I spent many a weekend there in high school, and I hated it. Early in the month, before you started hitting that limit, you could squeeze in some RuneScape, and you know, it would be delayed like by about a second or two. So like you would click somewhere, and your character wouldn't even start moving for about 2 seconds.
Right.
But you can still, RuneScape, you can handle that. As long as you're not like PvP. You can mine, you can cut down trees. Oh, it was so grindy. Such a grindy game. I was just the other day joking with someone about that, about how grindy that game could be.
It wasn't me, because you would have started joking with RuneScape around me. I would have asked you to not talk anymore. That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Hey, guys. I'm seeing some new people. Reminder, first of all, free troll coin that anyone wants to chat. Lots of troll coin if we get to lots of viewers, lots of followers, whatever. Drop any link that you want to, and we'll cover it. We'll at least read the headline in a paragraph or two and have a chat. Why not? That's what we're here for. But I also wanted to keep going here on this Halo thing with at least one more follow-up, talking point. Halo, I don't know what the actual sales number were. It probably wasn't the number one selling game compared to like Call of Duty or Candy Crush or whatever.
Yeah.
Halo's probably not the number one selling game, but I think that the combination of sales plus its artistic value. It was people loved the campaign.
Yeah.
The graphics were great. The worlds were beautiful. I mean, graphics were great, not like realistic in a lot of ways. Like every year they're more realistic. I'm not saying they were perfectly realistic, but it was just a beautiful world, a great story. I don't know the story, but my understanding is that it was pretty deep and pretty legit compared to Call of Duty.
Just the amount of people who could talk about Halo is really, really impressive. Could we do something, maybe like pick a random time that we know and nobody else does, and however many people are watching at that moment is how many dollars of troll coin we'll give away?
Okay.
Maybe that's for a future episode. And, if 1,000 people start watching, we'll just have to suck it up and somehow track down $1,000 worth of troll coin.
I'm in. Let's do it. We, for now, we'll talk over the details of that. But for now, I'm just going to say if we hit 5, I'll golden shower 5,000 troll coins all over the chat.
Okay.
So
all right.
There's that.
5. Oh, hang on. If we hit 10, can we golden shower 10,000 troll coin?
Yeah, I'm in.
If we hit 15?
15, yeah, we're good. 15 for sure.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, if we hit 15 tonight, I'll golden shower 20,000 troll coin. That's that. You can hold me to it, guys. Invite your friends, hide your wife, and start making this happen.
All right.
I've been using that joke a little too much, but
Tell your friends, tell your wife.
hide your wife, hide your kids. Yeah, I've been saying a little too
You've
much
been
of
saying
that
hide
lately.
your wife. Yeah, I guess I didn't even really notice because I tuned it out.
Yeah, Ryan likes to
Listen.
tune me out a lot.
Well, dude, this is your show, man. Get us back on the
Okay,
rails.
so let's do this. What other than Halo? What?
Super Mario World.
Okay,
What were you
I was
gonna
gonna
say?
ask what kind of games like are almost without question revolutionary.
Um, definitely not every sports game. I think that there are certain sports titles that go and define what that genre is going to play like for the next 10 years. And a lot of people play sports games. They're not on a release by release basis. They're not going to do the amount of volume that something like Halo or Grand Theft Auto or like a really good FPS that only releases every few years is going to do. Sports games aren't going to do that, but there are games like Tecmo Super Bowl, which was 90 or 91, pretty much set the standard for sports games for 5 years. NHL 94 on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis was like the standard, for hockey games for 10 years. We're not even just comparing that relative to their time period, but like straight up compared to NHL 94. NFL 2K5 with all the depth that it had in the franchise mode and all the extra options that it's had is what Madden is compared to every year.
Okay, so here's the problem. Great list. I'm
Good
sure
list.
all of those games were amazing.
NBA 2K11 is when we saw the NBA 2K series. That is maybe the biggest sports series in America right now, at least in my demographic. I mean, it's what I see most on my news feeds. This current iteration was set up by NBA 2K11 when they introduced classic teams and new gameplay mechanics.
So I don't play sports games, and I was not alive in the 90s much.
Right.
So how about you just rattle off some like semi-popular games from the past 10 years? Whether it's friggin' Sims 4.
Okay, so you're telling me good list, but your list was bullcrap because it wasn't exactly they weren't recent enough, and they were sports games.
Yeah, no, I'm not ruling them out because they're sports games. That just means I'm not as familiar with them. But I just want to see what I would think, and I'm just trying to come up with ideas for what might be considered revolutionary in my mind. But I need a list of games to go on. So any chat too, jump in the chat, guys. Any semi-popular game or above average game.
Grand Theft Auto 3, that was early 2000s, but it was the first mainstream sandbox third person or like open world game, because Grand Theft Auto used to be a top down until that. And I don't think that 3 was as popular as Vice City and San Andreas.
Which one was 5? I always thought 5 was the most popular.
5 is the most recent Grand Theft Auto that came out in 2013.
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto 4 would have come out in like 2008 or 2009. San Andreas was probably 06. Vice City was probably 03 or 04. And then Grand Theft Auto 3 was like 2001, 2002. That's where I'm guessing. I
quote him on that. Please quote him on that.
Do not quote me.
Put it in all of your articles, your encyclopedia articles that you're going to write. That is fact now. Put a little footnote citation, link to this show, and it'll be great.
Ryan Toffel said once.
Do you think that happens on Wikipedia? Obviously, it happens on Wikipedia. Like, to what extent do you think that citations are just bullcrap? Like, yes, it's on the internet somewhere, but it's just totally meaningless.
Yeah, I thought of that too. I mean, I was actually thinking about that today when, for the e-commerce store I write for, we're kind of like a sister organization of a news website, And then so in this sponsored content piece I was writing for my e-commerce store, I sourced.
Yeah, cited.
I
Sought.
I sought.
Soot.
I suited an article that was written on our news site, and I was like, well, it's like the same thing. I might as well just been citing myself. Said this 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? I was like, well, is that actually legit? Because I just cited us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Who knows, dude?
I just think, every single Wikipedia article has like literally 30, 40, 100 links at the bottom. And I just wonder, like, I should clarify. I wouldn't say they're total bullcrap. The majority of them, I'm sure the person that wrote it believes it. But like, is it still true? Like, it's just on the internet. They believe it. I mean, I guess it depends if you're talking about like cold hard facts versus opinion. If it's opinion, then 99% of it's just bullcrap.
Yeah, I don't know how many opinions are, unless it's the Wikipedia article is just going, this person said this. I don't know if opinions are
Right. But then I guess probably another category that's like 99% bullcrap, I would guess, is statistics that couldn't really be proven. Like, 80% of black people say that guns cause this. Like, yeah, there's some study out there, and yes, 80% of the respondents, black respondents, whatever, said this. But like,
I'm really glad that what you eventually said there was only as bad as what you said, because there was some real potential when you brought in a different race and firearms.
When did I bring in firearms? Did I maybe I did. I don't know.
Didn't you say something about 80% of black people and guns?
I think I did. I was just trying to bring up the type of any type of characteristic that people say stats about. Any, it could be any study, freaking gluten's bad for you, or 90% of kids say they were bullied in 3rd grade or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to bring up the type of stat that anyone would rattle off on the internet.
There's stuff that you could. I mean, it's just the way you conduct these. I mean, you could get 100% of kids in 3rd grade to say they're bullied if you phrase the question in the right way. Like ask a 3rd grader, this year have you felt frustrated by the way somebody has talked to you?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So then,
I did read an article just today. That's probably why the bullying thing was it came to mind. I read an article about how like Fortnite and whatever, RPGs, League of Legends, whatever, like something like 80% of kids that play those games say they were bullied either in game or like in a clan or whatever related to the game. They say they were bullied 80%. And that's why the bully thing was on my mind. And it's like they brought up the example of like KYS, kill yourself, that people might drop in some random game chat. Man, this is another thing that makes me, if we start talking about killing yourself and bullying, if we say one wrong word, we might get insta-banned.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm curious, like, do you think that's bullying? If no one ever, nothing bad, not...
It depends. I mean, honestly, you could say it with the same exact amount of malice in your voice, and if you told me to kill myself, you could say that today and it wouldn't bother me. But what if you didn't know it, and like my parents had just gotten a divorce and my dog died and my girlfriend dumped me? It could take on a different meaning.
Yeah, okay.
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Dan Brown, I thought you were my friend. But yeah, I think that the context has a lot to do with it. And even if it is a scenario where on a different day the bully would not have actually been bullying, I don't think that means that saying the same thing in the same way couldn't be bullying in a different.
Okay.
I mean, when I was in middle school, that was at the tail end of when stuff. Boy, I don't even think I can say like the British slang for cigarette. Like that's probably like outlawed on American
I
media.
don't know what it is, but yeah,
Like
you
a
don't
bundle
have
of
to.
sticks. Okay, but gay. Like when I was in 6th grade or 7th grade, that was like the number one insult. And we didn't mean like you literally go out and put a guy's penis in your mouth. Like you were just like being gay. It was like being dumb. And it was just so, I don't know, it's just the way things were at that time. And
You,
I didn't harbor any malice toward gay people. It was just a word
right.
we used to mean undesirable. And looking back on it, I wish that 12-year-old me had never said that. And I wouldn't call somebody gay now as a way to like cut them. But back then, that was just something that we said. And if you look at it in perspective of 2019 views, all of the people that I called gay and all of the people who called me gay, like we've already begun a web so complex of bullying that everybody on the planet's going to be bullied pretty soon. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've been rewatching Scrubs. That's
mhm.
one of my shows. It's up there for me, and it's what from like the mid aughts, maybe like 01 to 09 or something like
Yeah.
that.
I'm never comfortable saying aughts. I know immediately that it represents like 2000 through 2009, right? Or
I
maybe does it include 2001?
uh,
I know the kind of the time period you're talking about, but I feel like a phony. Like I'm using a word that's like too sophisticated for me when I
I
say
agree,
aughts.
but I just don't like the alternative, which is the 2000s, because that makes that we're still in the 2000s. I hate when people say the 2000s.
Okay.
So that's I don't know any alternative besides either
Yeah,
2000s or
because
aughts.
1900s could mean 1901 or it could mean 1998.
Right. So,
Right.
so that's why I don't like to say 2000s, and the only other word I know is aughts. But anyway, I mean, yeah, I'm still early on too. I'm on like season 3, and so there are points in there where it's like, I don't know if you could do that. Like the second most important character calls his wife woman the whole show. Like, yeah, woman, but like he's not like abusive. He just when
No.
he's making a joke, he says, "Come here, woman," whatever. You know, it's like
Boy, I haven't watched Scrubs in a while, but you're
Turk.
talking about Turk.
Yeah.
What's his wife's name? Carmela?
Uh,
Carla?
Carla, yeah.
It's Carla. Carmela is the wife on The Sopranos. I think the joke there was that Carla wears the pants in the relationship, and so like Turk would not ironic to him. He thought that he was like a big dude, but like to the viewer, the joke is everyone knows who's calling the shots there. So it's funny that he calls her woman.
Okay. All right.
So
I'm-
I think you could do
maybe
that.
I'm just not on that level of humor. I didn't get it, you know.
I mean, I think you could do that today, where if you had a sitcom where two buddies are like drinking beer in their garage when they're not supposed to be or something boy. So me and you we're out in the garage like really late and we're drunker than your wife likes us to get, and so she comes out and tells us to calm down because she's trying to sleep, and then as soon as she shuts the door, then you being like, yeah, get out of here, woman. Like,
I could see that in a sitcom, which also brings to mind the idea that how much the amount of humor you can get away with these days varies extremely depending on like, well, is it on ABC or is it like a stand-up comic or is it on Twitch or like
I think too is you kind of have to be grandfathered in. Like you can't begin a career as a stand-up comedian now and do a lot of talking about race. But Dave Chappelle, who's been decently famous since the mid-90s, his whole thing is pretty much about race still.
That's a good point. Just a weird. I don't know what to say about it. It's just a weird aspect of humor how that could happen.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of some example I had.
You want to fill us in on Emmy's thoughts? We got a book to read here.
Holy cow, Emmy!
Just the last one.
Okay.
We covered the rest.
The social constructed world will always dictate what we say and how we say it. Like I told Carl once, if you stop calling chairs chairs and you call them tables, then the chairs will stop existing because words control the world, and it sucks most people let the words control their mind and their thoughts. Now we have full censorship because people let that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, me as a conservative, I think that hits twice as hard because a lot of what Emmy is saying there is dictated through like pop culture, and for whatever reason, if they just are that old and not savvy enough with technology to make good media, conservative media is objectively way worse than the media that liberals produce.
Are you talking about like entertainment media? Yeah.
Well, dude, man, like, I don't think people hate Christians enough to like, oh, this is a Christian music group, we don't like them. Christian music, like, there's just no one that good out there where if you heard like a beat or this song on its merits of being a song as opposed to the Christian message, there are very, very, very few Christian singers or bands out there or conservative movie makers that are doing anywhere close to the quality of work that liberals are doing.
even if someone does pull it off, I'll see if I can come up with an example, who knows. But even if someone, I'm thinking of like OG Christian artists from like 15 years ago.
I mean, yeah, we're there's some things, I think, like Skillet. Do you remember Skillet?
A little.
They had like, they were the theme song for NBC Sunday Night Football for a little bit, but people have just gotten into such a pattern of taking what I just said as like fact that Christian or conservative artists now have to be twice as good as liberals because they're automatically dismissed. It's like profiling them because in general they're not as good.
So, yeah, I could see that. I was just gonna say that even the ones that pull it off, like, it's just so short-lived. Like, they might have one good album that a lot of people could objectively say, yeah, that's pretty good music, and then it's just off the rails, and it's like way too.
I don't know. 5 years ago, it might have been Lecrae, who I remember being in one song called "The Cray Button," where he was only featured in. It wasn't even his. But he was like a folk hero for Christians who are like trying to point to some Christian that makes good music. And I just completely, even being a Christian, I completely disagree. Like, I don't think Lecrae makes good music. When you compare him to, Adele, Taylor Swift, the Beatles.
I mean, I'm sure some people out there would argue with that list, but I get your point. Like, I totally get it.
Argue with my list of like, I mean, I don't know. I started to think of like who was just like the best vocal performers today. I think Taylor Swift is not.
I'm not. I historically my entire life I've told people I suck at picking favorites because like I might not be thinking of something else that I really like. So don't take this. Don't take this as like hard, fast, this is my favorite. But I was thinking lately, and I know you disagree because we've covered this once or twice, Macklemore. I could think of like, I've never listened to like a whole album of his, so maybe he has tons of terrible stuff. But I can think of like 5 or 6 songs that I love from him that they made, and not only are they good music, enjoyable, but they made me groove like even a year later. Because there are a lot of songs that I like for a week, and then it's like, okay, I've heard it.
And I don't really support Macklemore's message at all. Like, he is the exact opposite of me in terms of beliefs, whether it's religious or political. I'm assuming religious. I know political, but I'm assuming that his religious beliefs are not aligned with mine. But he still makes darn good music that is so good that even if this music is not approved by my Southern Baptist church, I'm still going to listen to it because it's that good. Nobody in any form of conservative entertainment, whether it is television or movies or music or talk shows, do anything near that level of there's no conservative media that is so good that a liberal has to listen to it because it's that good.
Yeah, I would agree.
How did we start talking about this? Oh, the social. Okay, yeah, because Emmy said that. Hang on, let me just read back Emmy's thought one more time, and then we'll see how far off track we got.
Okay,
Like, because that whole time I thought I was directly answering his question.
I mean, a little.
I'm gonna read it like I used to read commercials on the radio. The social constructed world will always dictate what we say and how we say it. Like I told Carl once, if you stop calling chairs chairs and you call them tables, then the chairs will stop existing because words control the world. And it sucks most people let the words control their mind and their thoughts. Now we have full censorship because people let that happen. I guess we stayed relatively on track. I mean, our words, our speech is pretty much determined by...
pop culture.
What we hear. And unless we're talking about a very niche thing, like me and my friends say unreasonable all the time. It's something we started in high school. And if something is bad, a new synonym for it is unreasonable. Most people don't say that. Like when things get introduced to people's vocabulary, it's because it started in a song or TV or something like that.
I saw a tweet lately that something along I think it was a comedian, and it was something along the lines of like, people are always complaining, I can't say this and I can't say that. But the truth is, you can say whatever you want, and if people don't like it, that's their problem. That was paraphrasing it, of course. And I appreciate that sentiment. I mean, the problem is there's risk and costs involved. And if you say something, we were just joking about it at the beginning here, it's easy to get demonetized on YouTube. It's, or Twitch or Facebook or wherever else. And so I love that sentiment. Yes, say whatever you want, and who cares what other people think about it? Who cares if you're allowed to talk about it? That's great. I love that idea. The problem is there's costs involved with saying certain things.
Yep. And it's... I did a whole episode on this, and so after this episode comes out, if you find what Dan and I are talking about in minutes 40 through 70 here interesting, you can go look at the Unpopular Opinions episode I did with Bradley Evans, because we talked about this for pretty much the entire episode.
All right, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, but I mean the long and the short of it is I don't know how that's a saying. That doesn't make any sense. Is people like demonetization is censorship on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram have evolved into like a public forum. That's where people go to get new ideas and to spread their ideas. Since they don't have a platform like a national TV show or something, you have to start somewhere. So 100 years ago, it used to be you go out in the middle of your town and you just start yelling until someone listened to you. Nobody does that anymore because people are inside on their computers all day, so you'd look like a crazy person. Back in the day, that was acceptable. Facebook and YouTube have turned into that. So what YouTube and Facebook do when they diminish the reach of somebody or they demonetize somebody, like their argument is no, we're not censoring, like YouTube demonetizing. We're not telling you what you can say or what you can't say. All we're doing is saying we're not going to allow advertising on that video, and that's our right because it's our platform. But if you don't let somebody make money from those videos, say just for example, it's a conservative, they can't make money from those videos, they now have to find some other way to make their income or find somebody to sponsor them that isn't YouTube. And so that is going to take a lot of work. And every hour or minute that they spend having to have a normal job to be able to support their production is a minute or an hour that somebody who isn't demonetized is getting ahead of them. So that's why demonetizing someone you don't agree with is absolutely censorship, because you're giving a leg up to the other message in a public forum, which I'm not okay with. And Bradley and I kicked around some potential solutions for that, but if you are interested in hearing a more well presented picture of that situation, then go on and head to youmeandbtc.com and click on the unpopular opinions tag, and you can find that there. That's my discussion with Bradley Evans.
Yeah. We don't have to rehash all that right now. In fact, we might as well wrap up before too long. But as quick as I can give a take on that, I would basically say, yes, all of that is true. Like, it does affect people. I said minutes ago, there's a cost involved when you say certain things that certain people don't like. There is a cost. It does hamper free speech. All of that is true. And then, yeah, left gets ahead if right is demonetized or has to go to some other platform or whatever. The problem is, you said it was a public forum. In a lot of ways, yes, but a lot of people would say, and I would tend to agree, again, my ideas can change. I can't pick favorites because I might be forgetting something, so don't freaking slap me over this one. But the problem is, like, so what? Like, I don't care about Facebook. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they want. Yes, I might not have as much money because Facebook doesn't like what I have to say. That's Facebook. I'm not Facebook. I don't care. And I would say the same thing probably about politicians. Like, I just don't care what you have to say. I'm me. I'm not you. What you do does not affect me. It does affect me. I guess that's the problem. I said that. There's a cost involved. It does affect me. But maybe I'm just agnostic then. Like there's nothing I can do about it.
The reason I care about it is not how it affects me, is because if you're able to control the channels in which the majority of the country gets and shares their opinions and ideas, and you can do things like influence an election or a government, then it's gone too far for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, elections and governments, that changes the whole picture.
Yeah, but the problem with that then is, as a conservative, do I want the government coming in and being able to define censorship or defining, what social media is? Even if you want to say social media is protected by the Second Amendment and any user can say anything they want on there, right down to hate speech, which I think the Second Amendment does protect. You absolutely should never in a million years, if you're a good person, say this. But if somebody thinks, wants to say we should lynch all N-words, I think it is protected under the Constitution that they are able to say that. Now they're not able to say, hey, come over to my house and we're coming up with a plan on how to kill all these people and then we're going to go do it. But if you're just saying, like, I hate this person based on their gender, like, unfortunately, I guess that is protected by free speech. Now, it's a really slippery slope as a libertarian or a conservative to say, oh yeah, okay, now I want the government deciding what counts as social media so we can say whatever we want there, because if we have a president or a Congress on the wrong side of the aisle, then I could be making the problem worse for myself.
Yeah, it's a big discussion, and
which I just spent like 2 minutes talking about that when I shouldn't have. We were supposed to be wrapping up.
No, it's cool. It is a whole different discussion when you said elections, you said government, you said Congress, you said Constitution. That all of those things affect the discussion, but all I really have to say is, like, I just don't care in a sense. I mean, yeah, I would say that it's bad. Yeah, if Facebook wants to cut off certain people, I would say that's bad for sure. But as for what to do about it, like, I don't care. Like, if Facebook wants to be a bad person, go for it. if Facebook doesn't agree with the Constitution, like, what do I care? It's like, that's them, and the Constitution's a piece of paper.
I agree with you to a point where I don't think that my life is significantly better now that we have a conservative president compared to when we had a liberal president. Just because it doesn't affect me, though, I think that government and democracy is such a fundamental part of being an American that if other people feel more affected than I do, then they should. Then it's really, really important that their voices are heard in those terms. Even if I really don't care enough. If I really didn't want Hillary Clinton to win the presidency, but I don't really know how my life as an individual would be different. I mean, maybe because I work in like a political media landscape, it would change how I do day to day. But like outside of work, I really don't notice too much of a difference based on who's president.
I would agree.
Now, other people could say that they don't care who's president, but it's still really, really important to them to have their voices heard, or maybe they really do care who's president and they think that it affects them every second of every day. I think that the way our country was founded, they have the right to be heard in those situations.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I would argue like, yeah, everyone should listen to other people when they speak or, tweet or whatever. I would agree, and I would agree you shouldn't really cut that off for sure because people should be heard. I just if Twitter disagrees with me, I just don't really care. Like, yeah, I believe that Twitter is doing a bad thing, or Facebook or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's bad for them to censor. I just don't think I'm gonna be able.
It would be like if you're somebody who doesn't swear, but you weren't super bothered by other people using profanity. Like I would seriously doubt I've ever sworn on the air, and I don't know if you've ever heard me use profanity at all. I just don't do it. That doesn't mean I'm going to shut off a movie or a TV show as soon as I hear somebody say a 4-letter word. Like, it's just, I don't care.
There you have it, folks. Nobody here cares.
Goodbye.
Hey, thanks, Emmy, for keeping us going.
Yeah, Emmy was the MEVP today.
Yeah, for sure. Seriously, thanks for being here. All you people on the podcast, you missed out big time. This gray space has yet to be selected for a filler, so rewind the video and pick a poster and tweet me at you, me, and BTC. Whatever your favorite poster was, we'll pop it up there for the next stream or whatever. Thanks, Ryan, for being here. It's been a while since you were on the original show here, so...
Yeah, I think I may have co-hosted it with you once in recent years, and then maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I came on for about a 10-minute segment, and it was very, very much still about crypto at that point, which I still know very little about, and I really didn't say much, and it's kind of an embarrassing debut on the You, and BTC network, but I think I've gotten comfortable enough now, and even though you guys don't really like me, I feel good enough on the mic to come back onto this show. And the next time I do, I promise you, we're going to do a random part of the broadcast. Dan is going to give away $1 of troll coin per viewer.
Per viewer. We'll write down a timestamp and certain point between like 0 and 60 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe what we can. Oh, I don't. Hang on. This is like some confidential information here. Okay, so we'll just say like this piece of paper. We'll have something written on here, and we'll hold it up for you. This is junk mail from Discover, and then when the
it's
time
just
comes,
my account number. It's not that big a deal.
So you guys know that we're not making anything up there. But
dude,
that'll
you know
be
what we could do?
The next time that I'm on?
We could get like 10 pieces of paper and write different times on each one, and then hold up whenever there's the fewest viewers so that we have to give away the least amount of crypto.
I want to give away a lot of Dan's troll coin. So share this with your friends. It's not my money. Let's give away Dan Brown's troll coin So
All right.
next time I'm on, make sure you guys are viewing then.
Be watching for it. We love you guys. Come back sometime. You, me, and BTC.com.